During our Q&A session at the June Virtual UX Conference, an attendee asked Jakob Nielsen what the most interesting UX problem is at the moment. Here's what Jakob had to say.
The most interesting at the moment, I think, is really remote in various ways, right? And that's, of course, caused specifically by the pandemic, COVID pandemic, but hope this is gone at some point of time. Even then, there'll still be much, much more remote than there was in the past, because now people have seen that it actually works, and there's no reason to sit in your car for an hour or sit on the British Rail for an hour or something like that to get to the office. You can work from home, and that works quite well for a lot of professions, including certainly ours and a lot of other knowledge work. And so I think it's not just a short-term problem for the next year or two, whatever. It's really something that will be a big issue for a long time to come. And we haven't really designed very well for it. I think the tools are still pretty primitive. Also, the base technologies, of course, also still very, very primitive. I mean, we're just barely able to do it, like have videos across the internet. It's not going out in truly high definition. And when I say high definition, I don't mean like Blu-ray quality. I mean, like at the minimum 4K. I would really more like say 8K or 16K is the video we would want, because participants in a meeting or discussion to really, it should look like you're just looking through a window and the person is actually there. And for that to happen, you need like at least 60 frames per second, maybe even 120 frames per second, at least 8K, 16K resolution quality. And those technical things, which is not our field to invent that or to draw all those fiber cables out to the, Orkney Islands, the most remote place. But I mean, that's what we actually need. And which then becomes more our area is like, well, how do we then design interfaces to support various types of remote collaboration and remote work, and also not just a collaboration, but also various types of enjoyment, various types of culture and education and so forth and so forth. So there's a variety of things, right? Because if you've read any of these kind of discussions about is it going to be a long-term trend for people to be remote and not go to the office? So one thing that some people often say is, yeah, but you really want to live in London or some other place where you have the opera house and you have the many pubs and you have the various many things. And you're not going to go and live out in the Orkney Islands, even though they have beautiful nature, I'm sure. But so you need to have ways of offering that kind of richness, and that is a difficult thing. I mean, so sure, you have a lot of streaming video, and you can watch exactly the same movies and YouTube clips and everything. Whether you are in London or you are in the Orkney Islands, it's going to be the same. But we need to go much beyond that. So actually, during this current crisis, the Metropolitan Opera in New York had it was a fundraising event, but they did a very nice kind of remote event where they had both their chorus and they had their orchestra they were each sitting in their own apartments, but they were still kind of playing together and singing together. And they also had like various opera stars beam in from Moscow and all these places. So that was I thought a very interesting event that they pulled off. And that was, of course, just the first experiment in doing this. But those are some of the things we need to work on how can we make the remote experience fuller and more productive, for work, more productive and more enjoyable for our private lives. And that's as long as a research agenda, development agenda, that's going to be many years. But even in the short term, I think that we can definitely improve over what we're seeing now.